who we are is beyond all of this material reality that we seem to live in. It's very vivid, it's very sensory. And I understand why we assume that this is reality. I mean, it is reality. It is. I understand why we assume this to be the truth, that this is the world. In our everyday life, we forget the expansive nature of ourselves, of reality itself. I mean, the sky, right? You look at the sky, it's not a limit. It's not the end of Earth or the end of our world. The sky doesn't even exist if you think about it. There's no sky. It's an illusion. The clouds are of our world. The clouds belong to our world, but the sky doesn't belong to this planet, does it? The sky is space. We're just seeing a different color of it because of the sun. Isn't it funny that what we see at night is the actual state of the universe than the day? I understand we're too engaged and caught up in the everyday responsibilities that we don't think about the higher truths. But those are what liberate us. Those are what put an end to our suffering. And we don't need to ask these questions about space and the universe, really. No, that was something out of my own curiosity. Contemplate. We all do that. But I'm pointing towards something else that is within us all, that is beyond identity, beyond this form, beyond the universe itself, beyond anything. That quiet awareness. I can't help it, I have to use that term, because I'm unable to think of any other word in our language that is a close pointer to what I want to point to for you. Identity is natural. We live in a natural world. Things just happen, right? One thing leads to another, and things happen. Events arise, and they lead to outcomes. Similarly, identity as well. Identity forms naturally. The way weeds just grow, right? If you have a pot of plant or in your garden, weeds just grow. You can't really say don't grow. You can't stop nature. It's just nature. So identity is like a weed, right? No matter how much you pull the weeds out, there's going to be new ones. And what do you do as the gardener? You just keep pulling them out. You just keep clearing the space. You try to keep your space clean and available for intended plants to grow. What I do is that I see myself as the soil. I see myself as this ground, this empty ground. And I plant the seeds here. I plant the seeds. And the first seed that I plant in this garden soil of mine is the seed of forgiveness, so that I can let go of the past. And then comes love and all of that and so forth. And somehow a new version of me is born. But I don't forget that I am the ground and not the seeds or the plants. Because it changes. You see a garden, it changes. It's always changing. But the soil, the ground does not. The ground always remains. It just is. You can't destroy the ground. But the plants, you can. You can destroy them, modulate them, recreate them, create them. What I do is I see myself as both the ground and the gardener. You know why I see myself as a gardener? Because it gives me this power over the weeds and the plants. If I don't tame the appearance of my garden, then who else will? I'm in charge of it. I'm aware that I exist, and I know that I am the person responsible. So the gardener is the one who's conditioning. The gardener is the sailor, the conditioner, the manager. And the ground, it's in place. The ground is the house. The ground is the home. And that's what you are in your truest sense. You are that awareness. And you also play as the gardener so that you can condition yourself into whatever you want. And you don't fight against the weeds. You don't cry about it. Things happen. Yeah, there's rain, there's storms, there's snow, maybe your land's going dry, too much sun, too much wind, animals and people, all of this, they're natural because we live in a natural world. And there's a cost for existence. There's a price to pay for existing. And that is the natural events that just happen. And the best you can do is deal with them, right? Not fight against them, not try to defeat them, but deal with them. We deal with them. We try to figure out. That's what we do. We figure out, we adapt, we change courses when we need to. We try to make things easier for the future. We learn, we make mistakes, we learn, we grow. That's what we do. That's what life is. It's beautiful. As painful and uncomfortable as it might be, as growth might be, it's what allows us to also experience joy. And joy allows us to experience sadness. Because we live in this world of polarities and dualities, and we understand that. So I'm talking about this so that you can understand both the perspective of being awareness and being this God now, being this human, right? And identities are like weeds, I said. Because I realized that whenever I settle into pure consciousness, pure awareness, and remain there, it is so liberating. And then I was like, when I'm in that state, I'm like, oh, this dance of being awareness and being human, it won't affect me anymore. I said that last night. I was like, it won't affect me anymore because I'm being this and I will maintain this for the rest of my life. And I woke up this morning and a thought came. a thought that was out of my routine. Not a bad thought, just about breakfast. And then I got caught up in thinking. By thinking about breakfast, I got caught up in thinking, and then I forgot my essence. And then I was like, oh my goodness, here I am again. Here we are again. And I wondered about identity. I was taking a walk right now. That's when I got this idea. I was wondering about identity. And I realized, okay, identity, it's like weeds. They just happen. It's natural. I can't control the formation of it, but what I can do is I can control my reaction towards it. You feel very liberated and in control of your reality when you're in that state of awareness, when you're in the purest form, where you're able to be who you are and also play life as the human you are. It's so beautiful there. But things sometimes happen, it's the world. It's nature. It happens and identity forms again. Not the same old identity, but a new one. And it's similar to the past, but it's a new one. And what you can do is not fight and cry and fret over your inability to keep yourself tamed. No, don't do that. And that will lead to self-pity and guilt and self-hatred even maybe. Who knows? Because it's a world of complexity and multiplicity, and the ego does that. The ego fights. The ego loves complexity. And the best thing to do is not to think how to get past this, not to find ways, but to simply be. And that's what I did. I allowed myself to be, not do another thing, not watch another Eckhart Tolle's video, not listen to a podcast or read a book, and no, nothing. Just be. Just be, because what's purer and clearer than your own awareness? Just be, right? And when I did that, I felt at peace again. And insights came to me. And that's how I got this idea to, okay, let's talk about this, because I want to make this distinction. I tend to forget. I speak a lot when I'm by myself. And I realized, why not record this? Why not post this? Somebody could be benefited and intrigued by my insight. New perspectives. We all have fresher perspectives to offer to each other. Like maybe this is a new perspective for someone, and I could just share. So I thought I'd share about this identity and the ground of being and the dance of it, as people call it. So what do we do when this identity forms? We remove the weed. And to do that, we need to first just be. So that's what I did. I said, we just be. And from that state, where we're more clearer and peaceful, we can observe the weed. And you realize that as you observe it, it goes away. You don't have to pluck it. You simply observe and it disappears. This is all very imaginal, but I mean, this garden thing is also imaginary. And you can imagine your weeds growing in your garden and then them just magically disappearing by simply being aware of them. You're like, wait, I'm aware of these weeds and they're not mine. I don't want them here. But just by saying the intention of, oh, I don't want them here, they'll leave because it's yours. It's your garden. Every one of us has our own garden. It's connected to, it's just one land, okay? One land, and each of us have our own space. Nobody gets more space than the other. Nobody gets lesser space than the other. All of us have our equal share of this garden. And it's imaginary. I'm just using a metaphor like to point at that truth that you understand deep within. Because that's what you are. That's what all of us are. And we can't speak of it because language is limited. So we use these stories and poetries and signs and whatever, everything. Whatever you use, it's just a reflection of it, not it, right? But it helps. You can get close to it, but you can't get to it. Like they say, finger pointing to the moon. You can only point your finger at the moon. You can't grab the moon. And as identity disappears, you can remain in this pure consciousness. And now that you've experienced this, learned how identity dissolves just by becoming aware of it, you can keep practicing that. It's in practicing. But to be able to practice that, we want to be calm. And that's why you simply be. You simply remain as awareness and you realize, okay, this works. If I simply stop myself from doing things and just take a breather for a second, I'm fine again. Wow. You know, today, I and this is so close, like 2 experiences led me to this today. It's not like I didn't know this, but I had to like live through this again for this understanding to be clearer for me now. I didn't drink water since morning. I was like, oh, I'm feeling thirsty and hungry. My water bottle was right here. It's always here, but I didn't lift it to drink it. I was doing everything else instead of drinking. And I'm like, wow, I used to be the kind of person who drinks a lot of water. I mean, I'm the kind of person who drinks plenty of water. I have like 3 liters, 4 liters every day. I do that. But today, I didn't. I just turned into this rebel for some reason. I didn't drink water until 12 p.m. And I was like, wow, I'm taken by surprise by my own ability to endure this. And I realized, okay, last night I was doing this endurance workout. I was training my endurance. And somehow that same endurance also served wrongly. Sure, I learned endurance like by working out to endure pain physically. It served a good purpose, but that same thing also serves a bad purpose. I was able to endure my thirst, but that's not healthy for me. I should drink water. So this happens subconsciously. You're not even aware of it until you're aware of it. I was only aware of it in the noon. I was like, wow, okay. So I need to be aware as much as I can. And the thing is, you're always aware. Just cloud it. Because you're the sky, not the cloud. And realizing that, I mean, as much as you can, right? The more you practice it, the more subconscious it becomes, the more habitual it turns. So you'll keep somehow subconsciously, naturally settling into awareness more often than you need to will to. So yeah, it's all in practicing it and repeating the good stuff over and over again.